This time, this time we're going to discuss about solving quadratic equation by extracting the square root. Okay, so we have here a given equation in the form x squared equals k can be solved by finding the square root of each side. Okay, so this is quadratic equations has no middle term, and we can solve it by extracting the square root. Okay, so we have here, let us try to solve the given quadratic equation. What are the solutions of 3x squared minus 75 is equal to 0? Try to observe. It has no middle term. If we're going to review the standard form of a quadratic equation, we have here ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we do not have the middle term. And how to find for the solution of the given quadratic equation? By extracting the square root. Okay? So first, we're going to move negative 75 on the other side of the equation. So we need to get the opposite. And the opposite is positive 75. So we're going to write positive 75 on both sides of the equation. So bring down 3x squared. Negative 75 plus 75, that will be 0, is equal to 0 plus 75, that is 75. We are solving for the value of x. There we have here the coefficient of x is 3. Therefore, we need to divide both sides of the equation by 3. So 3 divided by 3, that is 1. So you now have x squared is equal to 75 divided by 3, that is 25. And then after that, we're solving for the value of x. So in solving for the value of x, make sure that the exponent is equal to positive 1. But try to observe. The exponent of x here is 2. So how are we going to make it 1? Remember, we are going to solve it by extracting the square root. So we are going to extract the square root on both sides of the equation. So the index here is 2. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So x now is equal to, what is the square root of 25? Okay, so that is 5. So the square root of 25 can be positive 5 or it can be negative 5. So the solution of the given quadratic equation is x equals positive negative 5. What does this mean? X is equal to 5 and x is equal to negative 5. Okay? So let us try. Let us try if we have x equals 5 and x equals negative 5 as the solution of the given equation. Let us try to do the checking. Okay? So you have there 3x squared minus 75 is equal to 0. First, let us try positive 5. So 5 squared minus 75 is equal to 0. So you have now 5 times 5, that is 25, minus 75 is equal to 0. So 3 times 25, that is 75, minus 75 is equal to 0. 75 minus 75 is 0, is equal to 0. This statement is true. Therefore, x is equal to 5. How about negative 5? So you have there the original equation, 3x squared minus 75 is equal to 0. 3, the value of x is negative 5 squared minus 75 is equal to 0. So 3, negative 5 times negative 5, that is 25, minus 75 is equal to 0. 3 times 25, that is 75, minus 75 is equal to 0. 75 minus 75, 0 is equal to 0. This statement is true. Therefore, 5 and negative 5 is the solution of the given equation. So how many solutions do we have here? We have 2 solutions. The first one, positive 5 and negative 5. Any question about the given example? Okay? Let us have this one. 2x squared minus 50 equals 0. 2x squared minus 50 equals 0. So do the same thing. We need to get the opposite of negative 50. That is positive 50. We're going to write positive 50 on both sides of the equation. So you now have 2x squared. Negative 50 plus 50, that will be 0, is equal to 0 plus 50, that is 50. Dividing both sides of the equation by 2. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So you now have x squared is equal to 50 divided by 2, that is 25. Do the same thing, extract the square root in order to remove the exponent. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So x now is equal to, the square root of 25 is positive and negative 5. Therefore, the solution of the given equation is x is equal to 5 and x is equal to negative 5. We have 2 solutions here. Okay? The next one we have here, 3x squared minus 60 equals 0. That is minus 60, okay? Following the same procedure, get the opposite, positive 60. Positive 60 on both sides of the equation. Then, 3x squared. Negative 60 plus 60, that will be 0, is equal to 0 plus 60, that is 60. Dividing both sides of the equation by 3. So you now have x squared is equal to 60 divided by 3. That is 20. Okay, so we need to get the square root. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So x now is equal to positive negative square root of 20. Now, is 20 a perfect square? When we say it's perfect square, we can extract the square root exactly. No. So, your answer here, x is equal to positive and negative. What will be the square root of 20? So, your answer here can be decimal or it can be this way. Let us try 20. Let us simplify 20, or let us factor 20, I should say. Can we divide 20 by 2? Yes, we have 20 divided by 2, that is 10, right? Can we still divide 10 by 2? Yes. So 10 divided by 2, that is 5. So if we're going to write the factors of 20, that is 2 times 2 times 5. Okay? Or it can be 4 times 5. Yes? Yes. So here, instead of writing 20, we can replace it by 4 times 5. Because 4 times 5 is equal to 20. Yes or no? Yes. So you now have positive, negative. Try to cover your 5. What is the square root of 4? So that is 2. We cannot extract the square root of 5 exactly. So 5 will remain under the radical sign. Therefore, the solution of the given equation is positive 2 is square root of 5 and negative 2 is square root of 5. Okay? So x is equal to 2 is square root of 5 or negative 2 is square root of 5. You can also give your answer in decimal. So what is the square root of 20? Okay? Next, we have here. What are the solutions of its equation? Number 1, or letter A. M squared minus 36 equals 0. Doing the same thing, get the opposite. Positive 36, positive 36. So you now have here m squared. Negative 36 plus 36, that will be 0, is equal to positive 36. Okay? So extract the square root. That's why it is called solving by extracting the square root. So this 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So you now have m is equal to, what is the square root of 36? Positive and negative 6. Do not forget to write this whenever you are extracting. So the value of m, or the solution of the given quadratic equation, is 6 and negative 6. If you are going to give your answer in this form, that is correct. I am just separating it in order for you to understand that there are two solutions of the given quadratic equation. Okay? So how about here? Letter B. 3x squared plus 15 is equal to 0. So again, do the same thing. Get the opposite. Negative 15, negative 15. Okay? So you now have 3x squared, positive 15 plus negative 15, that will be 0, is equal to 0 plus negative 15, that is negative 15. Dividing both sides of the equation by 3. So you now have x squared is equal to negative 15 divided by 3, that is negative 5. Extract the square root. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So x now is equal to positive, negative, square root of negative 5. Now, try to observe the number under the radical sign, or this one, the radicals. The radicand, I should say. It is negative. If you will come up with a negative number here inside the radical sign, meaning to say that the given quadratic equation has no real solution. That is, if you come up with a negative here under the radical sign. Okay? Next, we have here 4d squared plus 16 equals 16. Okay, get the opposite of 16, that is negative 16, negative 16. So you have there 4d squared, positive 16 plus negative 16, that will be 0, is equal to 16 plus negative 16, that will also be 0. Your d has a coefficient of 4, therefore Divide both sides of the equation by 4. So 4 divided by 4, that is 1. D squared now is equal to 0 divided by 4, that is 0. Then get the square root. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So D now is equal to, what is the square root of 0? Okay, get it? D is equal to 0. Do we have a sign for 0? No. 0 is neither positive nor negative. So in here, how many solutions do we have? We only have one solution. Okay? Try to observe. On the first example, letter A. In here, the value of m is 6 and negative 6. So in here, in letter A, the value of m is 6 and negative 6. Therefore, in this quadratic equation, it has two solutions. While here, we will come up with no real solution. Okay, bear in mind. We will come up with no real solution if you have a negative number under the radical sign. Okay, so let's say for example, x is equal to the square root of negative 2. This quadratic equation has no real solution. While here, in letter C, D is equal to 0. There's no other solution of the given quadratic equation than 0. No more solution. So, meaning to say, this quadratic equation has only one solution, and the solution is only 0. The value of D is 0. Can you follow? So, can you see now the difference when a given quadratic equation has one solution, two solutions, and no real solutions? Okay. We have here some examples. Let us try number 2. 2x squared minus 8 equals 0. Get the opposite of negative 8, that is positive 8, positive 8. So you now have here 2x squared, that will be 0. So you have 0 plus 8, that is 8. Dividing both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2, that is 0, that is 1, I'm sorry. So x squared now is equal to 8 divided by 2, that is 4. Get the square root. So 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So x now is equal to, what is the square root of 4? That is 2. Positive and negative 2. We can separate it so that you are not going to be confused. X is 2 and x is equal to negative 2. How many solutions do we have? It has two solutions. Okay? So if your answer is this one, you're correct. If your answer, you write your answer in this form, that is still correct. Okay? So that is finding the solution of a given quadratic equation by extracting the square root. Thank you.